Sounds good. Well, I guess one of the solutions that you're proposing is if you have a trademark, whether it's the name of your company or the name of the product or service, or you've got a logo, it's best to go ahead and take steps to protect it, especially if you're planning to grow beyond your primary local area.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I mean, you want to protect your reputation. Really, trademarks are all about reputation, it's about goodwill. So if you have a logo that you've been using and everybody associates it with high service or high quality of goods, and somebody else starts using a similar mark and they have inferior goods, they're going to start attacking your reputation. Your goodwill is going to go down.
Right.
So you want to protect your goodwill. You want people to know whether it's great quality or average quality. You want people to know that when they come to you, that's the quality they should expect.
Right.
You don't want somebody else undercutting your goodwill.
Now, Stephen, I don't, you may have seen it. This is our latest issue, hot off the press. We have our Dickerson Digest, and we are featuring the solution point in our May issue. But one of the things, the standard things that I've been putting in here, and just different things, but we've got our crazy but true section, and it changes up. We have different stuff. What is like a crazy but true story you can give us about someone trying to apply for a trademark that you're like, this guy or gal is crazy, and maybe it was rejected, and one was that it was accepted? If you could give us a little crazy but true.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to tell you the mark, but I do have a client that's been using a mark for like 20 years in common law. Then somebody else applied for it, and now they're not going to have rights to it across the whole country because they sat down their rights. They could have applied for it and they would have gotten it easily, but they didn't focus on it. I don't know if they didn't know about federal registration or not, but they never applied for it, and now they're not going to get it because somebody else has superior rights in a bigger area of the country, and they applied for it first.
Wow.
They'll still be able to use it in their little area because under common law, even if you get a federal registration, if you're the first user, you have superior rights in their little area, but they're not going to be able to grow.
Yeah. Right.
And to be fair, if you have, say I have a common law mark in the Washington, D.C. area, they will give me a little bit of room to expand, but they're not going to give me the whole country under common law.
Yeah.
And then one of the other big problems that comes up nowadays is if you're using the mark under common law, but you're using it on the internet, now you have exposure through the whole country, but you may not have rights through the whole country. You may only have rights where you've actually physically used the mark. You actually sold goods or services, provided services. So that's a whole area that's coming up now too. Been coming up for a little while now.
So if you want to protect your trademark, you want to get it registered. So you want to make sure you get that done, and you want to make sure you get it done correctly. That's something that I always say is do it yourself is not always the best way to go, unless that's your hobby and you specialize, you spend your free time playing with whatever do it yourself type of thing is. Like if you like plumbing or you do carpentry at your house, that's something that you could kind of do it yourself. But anything legal, or anything at a professional level, it's real hard to have a hobby of registering trademarks. So you really need to leave it to the professionals, and that's something that I do, and I always recommend to my clients. I don't do it, and I know enough to say, hey, go talk to Steve because he's gonna set you up. But I guess that's one of the solutions is get it registered while it's early, because if you do decide to expand, you could wind up having missed the boat because you just were complacent.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that people should consider is if they try to file a trademark application for themselves or by themselves, there are things that can be fixed and there are things that can't be fixed once the application's filed.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just don't know. Like you cannot expand the goods that you include in a trademark application. So if you filed in class 25 for shirts and pants, and later on you want to grow to also sell hats and shoes under that, you needed to include them all at the beginning,
Mhm.
and there wouldn't have been any additional fees for it.
Right.
If you just put in shirts and pants and then you want to include shoes and hats, you have to file a whole nother trademark application just to include those two other things. So you can't add things during the prosecution of the application without refiling another application. You can limit it. So it's usually better to be more inclusive rather than less inclusive when you file a trademark application. You can always drop them later, but you can't add them later.
Right. And so those are some of the things that as a trademark attorney, an IP attorney, you kind of know, the different thing, the better way to approach it. And you can save people a lot of time and a lot of headache and money from doing it the wrong way and running against the brick wall and bumping into walls until you find the door. Sounds like a party that we may have had, but it's important to go with somebody who's going to guide you through this maze to get you to the other end as quickly and with the least pain possible.
That's true. I mean, I've had some clients that applied on their own and then they got a rejection and that couldn't be fixed.
Yeah.
And it was basically, you need to start all over. You need to wait another 2 or 3 months. You need to pay the filing fees all over again. Wait another 2 or 3 or 4 months before they examine it again. And they filed a 1B application for an intent to use, and now they're waiting around for another 4 months before they even know if there's a possibility of getting the mark registered.